Welcome to the African Hub for Sustainable Creative Economies Knowledge Hub, Nairobi. My name is Ogake Mosomi, and I'm the lead for the AHSC Nairobi Fashion Hub at the University of Nairobi. I'm here today with Michael Nguthu, jewelry designer and founder of We Are NBO.
I went to university to study fashion design, but my first job, which was a university attachment, which then turned on to be a full-time job, was for a jewelry company called Soko. It was an ethical, sustainable jewelry company based in Nairobi and San Francisco. And I was part of the design team, basically trying to figure out prototypes and things like those. I just found myself in the jewelry design space, not through like deliberation and intention, because that was what was available to me at the time. And I kind of had like a natural sense for it. So I took it on quite quickly. And I found like I was able to attract a number of interesting opportunities in jewelry design and other design aspects that are like similar to jewelry design. So I had a job where we were making trim for handbags, for clothing and handbags and other small accessories. I had like multiple opportunities to experience jewelry and the different forms the jewelry takes through the different jobs that I've had. And We Are NBO was born out of this need to create things without really needing to or having to submit them to a boss, and just to be able to fulfill myself creatively and test out whether my ideas had any merit in the marketplace. And since we started We Are NBO, it's taken a life of its own. That's my creative journey, or like my career journey summarized in a nutshell. That's I don't know if that's a satisfactory answer. Like the advantages of doing jewelry, first of all, in and of itself, jewelry is doesn't require a lot of it doesn't have a lot of issues, kind of like as ready to wear does, in the sense that like with jewelry there are no issues with sizing, there are no issues with fit. The materials are more or less the same, they're predictable. Quality control is much more easier. Sampling and prototyping is much more easier. I think just the nature of working in jewelry is much less complicated than clothing is. The trick with jewelry design is just being able to figure out what people want. As with most businesses in general, you just have to have an understanding of what people want and how best you can offer, or how best you can package the solution being your product for this audience. I think being able to design jewelry first is the main privilege. I mean, being in the jewelry space is a privilege in and of itself. But I think what We Are NBO has done is we have been able to balance pricing, design impact, and like wearability and quality to the customer. So that's our value proposition. Like it won't break the bank. We have wearable pieces, and it's good quality that's accessibly priced, and that is beautiful, that people feel like we have pieces that people can feel like they can wear every day. We have statement pieces, and the pricing, I find, has also motivated people to purchase our pieces. So I think merchandising has been an advantage that our brand has had, like being able to fill different like price points without going too low or going too high, and making sure that for each different price point, the value or like the design impact is present. Yeah, I think that's the formula for We Are NBO at this point in time. We really haven't been amazing with marketing, in the sense that like we haven't been super active like on social media or like with advertising. But I think one of that to a certain extent has worked to our advantage because, in the marketing efforts that we've done, the quality has been good. So I feel like that has been an added advantage that we've had over perhaps our competitors. We did the British Council. So we were part of the British Council Creative DNA. Part of the first cohort, we got training and part of an accelerator, which culminated in a magazine that was shared with press, buyers from different parts of the world. It was during COVID, so it didn't really materialize into much by brand partnerships with or wholesale orders. But we had one viral image in 2020 going into 2021 that really just this one earring that we have in our line sheet, it basically paid our bills for the whole of 2021. So that was a huge support that we got from the British Council and Fashion Scout to take us to like the next level of our business. And what literally transformed our business from day to night, it was like from night to day, was we were selected to participate at Paris Fashion Week through Canex, which was like this whole roundabout experience, in the sense that I was like Canex had selected me to go to selected where NBO to go to Portugal Fashion Week. It didn't work out because I got the visa like 2 days before the end of the event, but because I didn't participate going to Portugal. But the people at Tranoy, who are the official trade show partner of Paris Fashion Week, wanted to do a collaboration with Canex. So they asked for a list of designers from Africa, from the continent, to participate at Tranoy. Canex sent the list over, and from that list, we were selected, and that transformed our business. It was like from night to day. So so now we do mostly wholesale orders. We had shut down from September last year to February this year just to fulfill those wholesale orders. It was a steep learning curve, but all of the experiences that I've had at my previous jobs literally have been the reason why we were able to fulfill those orders and secure funding to fulfill those orders and successfully fulfill those orders to where now we're getting reorder orders. So all of those experiences were the main reason I feel like we were able to do it. Otherwise, it would have literally been impossible to fulfill those orders had I not had those previous experiences. But those two experiences, Fashion Scout and Canex at Tranoy, those are like the key nexus points to the transformation of our business. Interesting, when we were at Tranoy, the first time we went, we had the picture up of the earrings that went viral in 2021. And this was like in 2020. In 2020 is when it went viral, but in 2022, in September, people would walk past our booth and be like, oh my God, I know that picture. Oh my God, you're the brand behind this picture. It really just shows how it could take one image to strike a chord with just a bunch of people from different parts of the world that you really didn't realize the impact of this one piece of imagery. Those two things have been transformative to our business. First of all, as someone who works in jewelry is just it's abundant and infinite with possibility of like what you can do and like what there's an abundance of materials, an abundance of techniques. There's like the possibilities are endless, and I feel like I am operating on like 0.05% of the knowledge that is out there on how to make jewelry. And I feel like I'd love to, there's not much when it comes to fashion. I feel like there's a lot more training, a lot more opportunities for education and further training when it comes to like garment construction, embroidery, surface like finishing of materials. But I feel like that doesn't exist for jewelry. on the continent as such. So I feel like that's one area that could be an opportunity to provide or to like build skills on, making the craft of making jewelry, um, things like enameling, different techniques of soldering. There's a lot of training that I myself could go through, and training that my artisans can go through as well. So yeah, when it comes to like the actual making of the jewelry, that's one area that need more training on. Running a business, I think it really depends what your business prioritizes. So for some people, for other designers, I find that the way their businesses are run, I mean, they have to have more of like a business sense, just to make sure that whatever it is that they're designing makes financial sense. So there are people who might need more training when it comes to like financial aspects of the business. There are people whose businesses require a lot of creativity, time, and creative resources. And I feel like, just being like, long story short, I don't know how to answer the business skills training aspect of it. Definitely like basic bookkeeping, like being able to look at numbers and determine the health of your business, and costing your product in such a way that you are, you're in business and you're making a profit. I think those are the most important things. And also just management and managing people. Oftentimes people talk about, at least in the circles that I've been in, people always talk about managing creative talent. But then sometimes when you are a creative person running a business, there could be like issues with broken telephone, with the people around you who are not as creative. So how do you as a creative person, um, how do you as a creative person run, I mean, manage people who don't speak your language, or like don't really speak the language of creativity in business? So I think just having that education on like knowing how to articulate the value of doing certain things. Like now, because of my business, because of like how the business has grown to this point, have like someone who's in charge of like admin slash the financial aspects of the business. And I went on this thing where I bought like some magazines and like some things, like sourcing for inspiration. And I basically had to justify to this person, like, why am I spending this amount of money on these magazines when you could just like go on the internet? And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. So I think just being able to manage, or like to manage people who aren't creative or don't understand that, don't make sense to someone with money, like what's important and what's not important. But I can't speak on behalf of other businesses because I think it's different on a case by case scenario.